Good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening, good evening. And welcome to the May 18th edition of SBC Tuesday Talk. I am your host and moderator and facilitator and head cook, Mike Walker. And we introduce our panelists. We have Tamara, we have Victor, Shannon, Nick, and Kirsten. I'm glad to have y'all here and glad to have y'all here watching us. Yes, great. And we have a lot of good people here tonight. Andrea, Teresa, Tracy, AB. Uh, Thank you, Tiffany. Good evening, everyone. Wanda, Shamika, glad to have you. Oh, Shannon is in the audience. Wow. Technology. Theodora, Amy, everybody. And oh wow, we got a bunch of folks up in here today. Okay. That is great, 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 great. Glad to have everybody here. Well, y'all ready for this, folks? Panelists, church, Sunday school class, y'all ready for this one? This is gonna be, I don't even know how to even start this show. We got so much to cover. So I'm not gonna waste your time. We're gonna get started. Ah, let me see. It was last week. Tamara shared this post, and it was made by this guy, and I really don't even want to call his name on me. I know his name, but I don't want to do that. And he made kind of a bad post. I think it was a bad about concerning children that wasn't his. And here it goes. Ladies, the time and money I spend on my own children is because they are valuable to me. Your children by other men mean nothing to me. They have no value to me. That's ugly, ain't it? Oh, Victor grinning too. That's something right there. That's something to say right there. There are step kids who being mistreated because they're not part of, his brood or what have you, though. And I don't know, that's pretty ugly and nasty to me, though. You just don't. And children are precious, and like we say back in the day, they didn't ask to be here. And you shouldn't. I understand you want to preserve your own, I guess, legacy or lineage or what have you, but you might could be a role model to that one that's not yours. I've seen plenty of times where the natural children left daddy alone, and it was up to the stepchildren to take care of daddy. So, you have to be careful about who you treat or mistreat in this world, because you never know who had to hand you a cup of water, you know. But with that said, though, and that was my little spiel on that, this topic is the first topic for the night is that's not my kid. That's not my kid. And since she was the one to post it in our very lovely group, we're gonna give Tamara first dibs at it. Go ahead, sister Miles.
Well, I shared it because I know that that is the consensus of many men and women. Um, I was that way too. I didn't want to be bothered with anybody that had smaller children because I just didn't. That was my own selfishness. But when I posted that, I also went to his group. It's called Man Sphere. And to hear the men and to hear their stories, I understood why he said it, and I understand why they feel as they do. So I think it's a preference. Everybody has their preferences, and they know what they want. And like Shannon says, if you don't want to be bothered with kids, don't date anybody with kids. That's true. And I'm all for that. But my situation changed, my mind changed, and that was me. So I think it's just a preference, and I shared it because I wanted other perspectives, um, and to see, and I kind of knew how it would turn out. The single mothers would be upset, and rightfully so, So that's why I posted it, and those are my thoughts on it. I don't agree, but I understand.
Hmm. Okay. Anyone else? Go ahead, Shannon. Shannon Covington. The mic is yours.
Um, I saw a comment that said, that he could feel that way due to personal trauma or, something like that. Who cares? Um, yeah, that doesn't matter because at the end of the day, if you have to give a disclaimer like that, that goes beyond preference, because if that is your preference, you wouldn't have to give a disclaimer. You would just date somebody that doesn't have any children. And another thing, why are we acting like he makes the decision? I wish I would, as a mother, even consider a Negro like that. The devil is a whole lie. Why would I ever even consider being with someone who says that my children have no value to them? Well, then keep it moving, buddy. It's that simple. Go date someone who doesn't have children so that you can just focus on your own. It's that simple. But to say to someone, it's like if you have to give that disclaimer, then obviously you're trying to date somebody that has children. Because if you weren't, you wouldn't even have to make that statement, period. So to me, that was a disgusting display of even being human. Because even as a human, children have value. They're human. Everybody has value. But to say that they have no value to me and they don't, whatever that statement was, it was just, to me, that was ridiculous. Didn't make any sense for you to say it. Because if that is indeed your preference, then go talk to somebody else. It's that simple. But you don't have to belittle or demean somebody else who has children. Don't talk to them, period. Just don't talk to them. And any woman that's trying to talk to you and you think that way is foolish. Crazy. Doesn't make any sense. You muted. You muted.
Yeah.
I got you.
It was explained in his group that there's an expectation, and men are sick of that expectation, where just because you have children, and he wants to be with you, but you want him to put more into your children than his children.
Yeah.
And I can also go on that side too, because you do have women that expect for the man to take better care of her children than his children. So
And
I see it that way too.
but if that is the case, because to me that's a whole different topic. If a
But I mean,
man is trying to date, but it's like this: if a man is trying to date a woman who wants him to focus solely on her children and to forsake his, then that's not the type of woman he should be dating in the first place. You know what I mean? It's just all about character for me, whether it's a man or a woman. It's like at some point you have to make the decision of the type of person that you want in your life. And if I am a man, I don't want that type of woman in my life. And I am a woman, I definitely don't want that type of man in my life. Am I a single mother? Yes. Do I have a daughter? Yes, I do. If a man ever were to say to me, hey, I have my kids, I love my kids have value to me, your daughter means nothing to me, I would say, Negro, if you don't get out my face before I slap you, it would just be that quick. Like, there's nothing for us to talk about. Get out of my face. You don't have to give me that disclaimer. And I would never consider him. Period. Point blank. Mic off.
To me, the sad part about the whole thing is that the child is an innocent individual in the equation. It's one thing in what you may deal with the parent on, it's another thing with the child on. And like Shannon and Tamara said, you chose, the person would choose to get in that situation. If they don't like it, if you don't like McDonald's, don't go to McDonald's, and so that's kind of, to me, it's sad that it makes better sense that he said it in the group, not that I agree with it, opposed to I thought in the context he was saying it to somebody, and I was like, that's real crazy. But I guess he felt like with birds of a feather, you flock together. But the children are innocent.
Anyone else? Anyone else want to go ahead, Kirsten?
I'll go, Kirsten.
Yeah, Kirsten, then Nick.
I was just going to say, while raising my daughter, I came to the realization that I did not want a man outside of her father over her, period. So I decided not to date until she was of age to be able to, 17, 18. And it was a while, but you just have to be careful. I was reading, someone made a comment, that's how children can end up dead, because they don't value their children. You have to be truly careful, because when a man has that kind of a mind about a child, you don't know what his background is. You don't know what makes him tick. You ain't found out. There's something going on with that. I also seen, what about a single father? That's the same way. If you run into a woman that has that mindset, hello, run to the hills from which cometh your help. Amen. Praise God. I'm just saying. I mean, it's just real. It's just serious. That's all I have to say. It just becomes to a point to where you just have to. That's why you need to always find out about who you're dating and know their summer, their springs, their winters, and their falls. Get to know who that person is, the inside and the out of them, because I guarantee you, their true colors are going to come out. The question is, are you going to wait to find out what their true colors are? And then when you do, are you going to stay or walk away? Mic off.
Okay, Nick.
Okay. Well, I was going to say that people, that you get in these relationships with folks, and I've been in that situation as a child where, my mother dated guys who I was like an afterthought. And my father, he married a woman who, it took her a while to warm up to me, because we weren't around each other. And it's just tough on a child whenever, you realize that you're not important in that other person's eyes, that they kind of are treating you with a sort of disregard because they want to be with your parent, but they don't particularly so much care about you so much. It's like, oh, well, you came with the package. Like right now, more full disclosure, I guess, I'm dating a woman who has children, and I am engaged with her kids. I talk to them regularly. I'm engaged with what they're doing in their lives and what they got going on, because it's not just about me and her. If we're building something, it's about me, her, and these kids. So as a man, I can't sit here and say, well, yeah, those are my kids, so they're not important, or go talk to your real daddy. I can't do nothing for you. That's just not, that's not godly. It's not right. As you talked about before, Mike, it can come back to bite you. You just never know what life is going to hand you. You just have to be better. And I'm not just talking about men. You have to be better as people, because you get women who do it too. They date a man and he has kids, and they don't care about them kids. They care about that man. They want him. And you have men, and you have men that date women and they don't care about her kids. They care about her. And I've seen some men where they do that. They had dated a woman, and I knew a guy. He dated a woman. She had 6 kids when he met her. They had a 7th child together. He married her. They together now. Ups and downs, back and forth, whatever. He treats all them kids like they're his. But that's him stepping up. And they have fathers that are in their lives, but he still treats them like they're important, But it's like they said, it's difference in sensibilities.
I get you. And Nick, does she have 8 children?
No. Thank the Lord. She's not the little old woman in the shoe. No.
Okay. I was just wondering. That's all. Pardon me. I'm just being a little nosy. That's all.
It's all.
But okay. But seriously though, and it could be a tricky situation though, because there are some cases where I don't want to say it's the package deal is forced upon them from the get-go. But I still believe you just shouldn't just make bold statements like that, saying, referring to her kids like that. Children have feelings. What if they overheard that? You gotta listen to that. And what if they're old enough, like a teenager, and they hear that, and they already dealing with the possibility that their biological father is not in their life, so they got a whole lot to deal with. We just gotta be a little better, though, I guess. But
yeah, that's what I meant by finding somebody else. Like, if that's your preference as a man or a woman, if that is your preference to not be bothered with someone else's children, then date somebody who doesn't have children. It's that simple. Because the moment you decide, oh, I'm investing energy and time into this person to possibly build a future, well, she's a package deal. He's a package deal. You can't have one without the other. You just can't. They come together. So you can't love me, tell me that you love me in my face and say, oh, I don't have no love for your child. You don't have no love for me, because that's me. That's an extension of me. It's just period, point blank. So you just need to keep it moving. There's nothing wrong with having a preference. There's nothing wrong with wanting that. But you cannot, don't approach nobody with that foolishness. Go find somebody else who meets your criteria. And I do think it important, something that Tamara did say, because men do deal with women who are trying to force things on them. Men do deal with that. I think that is definitely a topic that we can explore later, because they do. But in this case, I feel it important for any man or any woman who feels like this guy feels, it is imperative that you not involve the children, that you not engage with that woman or that man. Go find somebody else. Period.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
The dangerous thing, he said, the children have no value. That in of itself, that's to such a great extreme, because people have value. Children, adults, all have value. And that's different than saying, I don't want to take care of someone else's children. You saying people have no value. Someone that God allowed in the world has no value. Someone that has purpose and significance in the earth has no value. So it's kind of like it becomes a statement of pride, because you're then exalting your thinking above that which God thinks, because God believes we all have value because he gave his son for the world. And so everyone has value and has significance. And so that statement is so, the ramifications of that statement is so, it's beyond trauma. It's beyond craziness. I can't comprehend it. because they don't have value.
And like you said, Victor, and I'm glad you brought this up. It's like the difference between you saying, I don't want to take care of another man's child, as opposed to just saying, well, that child has no value. And even that first thing, I don't want to take care of another man's child, I don't think you should say it within earshot. But that's just my opinion right there. And I can understand someone feeling that way. You can't force someone to love a child. You can't. But like you, I'm really baffled that how can someone think so low of another human being, especially a child. They pretty much can't defend themselves. That grew up and dealt with a lot of things.
Well, it's interesting to me that he would say that and then be looking for a relationship with somebody who might feel the same way he does. So now you've got these kids that you consider important, and she don't care about them kids. And now you're mad because you're saying, well, they got to be picked up from soccer practice or school, or they got to I got to get them some shoes. And she's thinking like you think. She thinks they don't have no value to her because they're not her kids. Now the shoe is on the other foot. And you're thinking to yourself, well, what you mean? You don't care about my kids getting some shoes on their feet, or they got, or they get fed or whatever. And she's saying, well, they don't have no value to me. And you thinking, well, what you mean? What kind of crazy woman is this? But that's the same energy you put out into the earth. And to me, it all comes from somebody not thinking before they speak.
Well, only thing I can say is that I hope his heart softens along the way. Hope he have a change of heart. And I guess the last comment on this topic is Latasha Smith. Glad to have you here, Latasha. If he doesn't see value in her children, he is literally rejecting the whole family line coming from those children. Will the children, grandchildren, and so forth have to be devalued by him as well? Let him go before he causes generational insecurities and issues stemming from his delusional personality. Now that was a mouthful, y'all. That was definitely it. That was it right there. With that said,
Mike, they can't do what the parent does not allow. It stops really with the mother or the father. If the man is dealing with the woman like that, it stops with him. Because if you allow that type of person into your space, knowing who they are, that's on you. That's not on them for being that way. That's on you because you saw it. They told you how they felt, and you still allowed them in your space and possibly subjecting your kids to this dysfunction. So at that point, it's not on the person who has that mindset. It's on the person that allows that mindset in their life and around their children. The devil is a lie. You can't be around me talking like that, thinking like that, being like that at all, period.
And even piggyback off you, Shannon, I remember working in child protective services. There were instances where mom left her kids with the boyfriend. The boyfriend may have done this thing called shaken baby syndrome, shook the infant. The child had brain injuries. That was very frequent in the city that I lived in at the time. And that's a reality. It's like, when a person says something like that, that's not a slip up. That's not a mistake. It's something to really, those red flags that you really look at and say, okay, it's one of those things of, I know it's the later topic, when to walk away. That's a good opportunity to walk away because even if you don't plan if something happens when you get pregnant, some monkeys you don't need to feed because it may grow up, become the gorilla that you don't like tomorrow.
We wonder why. We wonder
hoping they're
why
gonna
in the.
change.
We wonder why in Genesis it was a snake, but by Revelation it was a whole dragon. How? Because somebody kept feeding them. And that's how it is in these type of situations. You feed it if you want to, but at the end of the day, don't blame it on the snake. Don't blame it because the snake grew into a dragon. You got to blame it on the person that's been feeding that.
Mm-hmm. And with that said, that makes a great segue to our next topic. When do you walk away?
Immediately.
Well, Shannon, give me a chance. Give me a chance. Okay. I understand. Trust me. But as y'all know, and we in this single group. Uh-oh. I got you. Okay. Okay. That's all right. We have people. We have people in our lives, or used to have people in our lives that plain and simple didn't need to be in our lives. That we should have just walked away from, not yesterday, not this afternoon, not last week, but unfortunately years ago. But for whatever reason, be out of what we think we could have got out of them, what they could do for us, or whatever, we kept them in our lives though. And it comes a point that you have to stand up and say, you know what, that's it. With that said, our group member, she doesn't even know I'm about to do this. Shay, she'll be in the after party. She made a good post on her page. I really wish she had posted this in the group. And it reads as follows. Sometimes you have to walk away from someone just because they think you can. Okay? Now, how many of y'all had been with someone, family, kinfolk, workers, co-workers, relationships, whatever, kept trying you and didn't believe that you was going to walk away until one day they called you and it went straight to voicemail. You know, you're no longer connected on social media. How many of y'all have done that? Please share your story. Okay. Shannon, Tamara, then Victor.
Yeah. Sure have. I was married to that sapsucker. He thought that because I loved him that I was just going to put up with any and everything. And I feel like this, you make a mistake. Okay, one time you made a mistake, learn from it. You make two, okay. All right, you got a bad habit that you need to break. It's 3 times. Oh, that's a lifestyle. And at that point, I need to exit stage left. And so once I saw the type of lifestyle that he wanted to live that did not serve my lifestyle, we were not in agreement. And I felt like what he wanted to do was put my life in jeopardy because of it. It was time to go. And he thought because I loved him that I wouldn't, but sometimes you have to show people that fat back is greasy. And so I left. We were literally in the counseling session. He said some things in the counseling session that I had no knowledge of. And I said, oh, okay. We walked out of that counseling session. I said, I want a divorce. And I filed the next day. not playing any games. And I was divorced 31 days later. And so, yes, Shay is absolutely right. Sometimes you do have to walk away because people think that you can't. And you also need to walk away when your mental health is being sacrificed, when you are losing yourself mentally, emotionally, and when the energy that you have given is consistently not given back. It's time to go. It is time to go because there's nowhere in the Bible that says you have to stay in something and be miserable. We always like to talk about our parents and our grandparents and how they stayed married for 40 and 50 years. My grandmother never divorced my grandfather. But you know what? He cheated on her. He had 4 outside kids. He was a gambler and he was a drunk. That is not the type of life I want to pattern myself after. So we need to stop talking about how our parents and grandparents used to stay together. They stayed together, but it didn't mean it was healthy or functional. A lot of times it was dysfunction, causing generational traumas and generational curses and generational dysfunction over and over and over again. But we want to always try to look at those relationships like they were the greatest. They were not. They were not. Do yourself a favor and walk away. Period. Michael.
Tamara?
Well, Shannon shared her story. I walked away from my husband and thought I couldn't leave him too, but I had to walk away from my 26-year-old daughter. She burned the bridge. I destroyed the bridge. I mean, when I tell you I was physically sick because she just felt like she was grown. I couldn't just knock her head off, because then we going to jail. But she felt like, because of my grandson, I wouldn't walk away. And she tried to use my grandson as the pawn. That didn't work. That didn't work. I didn't talk to my daughter for 2 years. I talked to my grandson anytime my son had him or my daughter-in-law had him. So, I was able to talk to him, but I had to walk away from her because it was to a point where I just could not deal with the disrespect. My daughter has mental issues that she will not have addressed. So I can't help her. And to stay around was hurting me. So I had to walk away. So, yeah.
I'm so sorry about that. Victor?
It's different. I've walked away. There's been different depending on the relationship, determines my walking away. In any level, it was an intentional decision. It was deliberate on my end, and I thought about it. I remember there was one scenario I said maybe some months before I ended the relationship. I said, I don't question, do you love me? I question your definition of love. And because of I've seen how you love me like you love you. However, I love me too much to continue to allow you to continue loving me like you love you. So I disengage gradually from the situation, gave notice like the landlord. The landlord gives you notice. I gave notice, the eviction notice. I'm going to be leaving at this particular time. It's going to be over with. And so I have never ghost, but you got notification and you knew why I was leaving and that I wasn't leaving a victim, but I left as my name, Victor. I left of my own volition. May have been influenced, but it was my decision. So, what's that?
And thank you for sharing the topic of when to walk away from those hurting you, even when it's your child. You have to walk away from. It's a pain that runs deep for parents. Absolutely, absolutely. And love under new management. I had to walk away from a friend. She didn't believe me. She didn't believe me till one day she called and she said, I've been thinking about you, you know, uh, and I really miss our conversation. And after a long pause, I was like, what do you, yeah, just like this, real time. I was like, what do you expect me to say? And then she seemed appalled and says, well, I thought our friendship was better than this. And I told her this without hesitation. I said, well, that's just it. We're no longer friends. Yep, I said it. I'm audacious. Y'all know I'm audacious like that. Come on now. Yeah, no need arguing about it, and just say it like that. But she said, oh, excuse me. And that was the end of that. I felt so much better. You know, you just, okay, results may vary. You might try it yourself. I don't know. All I'm saying is you have to show these people that you mean business. Okay? You know, you have to, and you got to believe yourself, believe in yourself, and realize that you can do better without these people. Don't give them that much power over you. So, and anyone else somebody had to give Greyhound tickets to? Victor, go ahead.
I think for me, I learned in those scenarios, they were a gift. Walking away, they don't realize I may have chose to walk, but it gave me a gift that I learned to, as the Maya Angelou thing is, you begin to see how people are. And I learned to accept how people are quickly. I just learned I don't have to tolerate it, nor do I have to put certain things on a layaway system. This is how you are. Maybe you'll change, but I don't have to stick around to see if it's going to change or not. I'll pray for you, but that's between you and the Lord Jesus, because I'm only working on my own soul salvation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Andrea says, I think many know you can walk away, but don't think you will act that you actually will. Yeah. And again, they don't believe it. They don't believe that. They don't. You until it happens. And then they want to call you like business as usual. Like, what's up? No, not. This is, like the song at the end of Shoot Your Shot. It's a brand new day. It's a brand new day from here on out, And Venus says, oh, I love them from a distance. That's Erica. Venus says, I needed this. Thank you. Thank you. To God be the glory. D. Giles, any toxic relationship is not worth your peace. And Shamika says, I can show you better, way better than I can tell you. Go ahead.
But Mike, there's something I want to mention. I know there's a relationship that I have. I kid you not. If it was up to me, I'm like that cat with 9 lives. I had purpose to walk away, had planned to walk away, but the Lord Himself keeps me in the interaction as much as I can't stand it. And so sometimes, I learned from that experience that sometimes you're having to grow in situations that you could find repulsive. It's just like David still honored Saul, even though Saul was going to kill him. And so there's certain situations that, I don't know the fine line. In this situation, I have sought the Lord how many times and said, Lord, can you let the brother just get out of this situation? And
He has you on assignment. That's why.
Exact, but it's like, forget that assignment. This person get on my nerve, and I literally will get out of character, to get points across to the person, and have counseled myself and have gotten others to counsel me to help me in the scenario. So there's some situations that we need to be seek the face of God before we do walk away, and do it with kindness,
And the Lord told you His grace is sufficient, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Hosea. Okay, Kirsten.
Okay, I know I stepped away for a moment, but did I just hear you say to ask the Lord before you walk away? Did I hear you say that, Victor?
I may have said it. I don't remember really right now.
I mean, you know what?
Normally I remember what I said, but I don't really. In this scenario, that particular person, only this scenario that I know of, that I have not been able to walk away.
Okay. I was in a similar. Well, I was in a situation where the gentleman felt that because he was who he was, that I wouldn't walk away. And I walked away, and then he said, well, okay, I want to come back now. Now I'm giving you this because I want women to understand. They'll come back. The question is, are you going to take them back? You have to be able to love yourself enough to not go back to what you were dealing with before. I don't care how good you think he was, because women get caught up. I know we're in a Christian group, so I ain't gonna go there. But understand, what I'm saying is, you think the sex is great, you think he makes good money, you think he got a nice house, you think he has all of that, but he's passive aggressive. He's talks to you any kind of way, slap you upside your head. But I love him. Come on, people. It's just not that serious. We got to get to a place to love ourselves. And if you find yourself in that position at any given point in time, you need to really check yourself, because you haven't healed from something that you've dealt with in the past. And here you are in the present dealing with the same thing. Mike off. I just had to say that real quick.
Piggybacking off of what you said, I think it's important to, it was something that Vic said that was so profound, and I know the people in the audience felt it too. He said that he did not doubt whether or not she loved him. He didn't understand what her definition of love was. And that's the thing, is like, people can say they love themselves, but if they don't really know what that means, what it feels like, what functional and not dysfunctional love looks like, then how can they? That's another thing that makes it hard for people to walk away, if what they think their idea of love is that somebody being verbally abusive. Oh, he's showing that he cares. And so, yeah, I'm with Vic. I need to know, what does that definition mean to you? Because I can say I love you and you can say you love me back. But if I see the way you love yourself, I want you to love me the way you love you. Because if that's the way you love you, you definitely can't love me the way that I deserve. And so I just think that important to know what that definition is, because it means something different to everybody. But in order for us to even have a relationship, we're going to have to be on the same page. This is what love looks like to me. And this is what love feels like to me. And just like someone said in the comments, love is an action word. It is a verb. It's not a noun. It's not an adjective. I need you to show it, not just say it. It has to be seen for me. My God.
You trigger something, district missionary. Is that
Make me so sick.
love is like an energy. It does not die. It can change form. So there's sometimes people in our lives, we may have been in love with them, we still love them, but loving them doesn't mean that they have to be present and active in our life. We love them. We can love them from a distance. We can love them with boundaries. We can love them because love is like an energy. You don't have to be present to love somebody. And so sometimes in that love, the greatest sacrifice could be your absence. And so, you just brought that to mind to me when you were talking.
Absolutely. Anyone else?
I was
Yes.
going to say, this subject is a little funny for me because when I think about it, my life has been so transitional where I'm just kind of moving around. Nothing's kind of, nothing ever feels exactly stable. I've walked away from a lot of things. So my walking away is not quite like other people's. Me staying is more, kind of central to who I've become now, as opposed to me walking away. Because walking away is, it was that for a long time. I'm over 40 now, but for over 40 years, it was just, literally, if somebody didn't do something right, it's like you don't have to deal with that, Nick. You just leave, And people, like I said, they would be so in and out. They might be here, might be down for me one minute, they might not be down for me the next minute. It became very easy and to walk away from, I won't say everything, but a lot of things. And as I become older, it becomes fun. It becomes more interesting to me to find things that you are willing to fight for and stick with. And I don't know. That's where I am with it.
You go ahead, Victor. Victor and then Tamara.
Nick kind of triggered a thought. So Jonathan's son, Mephibosheth, he walked away. There was a situation, stuff that was going on, and he walked away and went in a city called Lodibar. There came a time he came back in the palace, sat at the table. His dad may have died, his grandfather may have died, Saul and Jonathan, but he came back to the table. So there can be some scenarios that reconciliation, but God did it, brought about a reconciliation and a restoration for Mephibosheth. And so because all walking away, sometimes the prodigal son walked away, but he also came back. So sometimes the walking away has nothing in the prodigal son. It had nothing to do with the father's love as it had to do with the son's issue. So sometimes it's knowing why you're walking away. What's that pull that's caused you, or you offended, and just didn't want to deal with, you wanted to avoid the conflict, so you walked away because you don't like dealing with conflict. So.
Okay. Tamara.
So I'm gonna have to go back and watch this video and then post under Nick's comment because I forgot what I was gonna say. It was something that Nick said, so I done forgot.
Well. at the end of the day, you have to love yourself. You have to love yourself and you respect others and respect their time, and let's make sure that we don't become that person who feel that someone cannot walk away from us. Don't think we have that power. You wake up to a rude awakening one day. So, and that's what I have to say on that right there. And I need 10 seconds to decide, do I want to ask this next question? What you think? Okay. Shannon said, yeah, okay. Let's go. We got our last question. We got our last question.
We got our
For tonight. Yeah, something, ain't it? Okay. And it is a simple one. There have been fights, wars, and rumors of wars in SBC and SBCC concerning this topic. Brother against brother, sister against sister, parent against child. And it is, who approaches who first? That's a simple question. We always want to say that the man should approach, but are there times a woman should approach? It's pretty much a quick question. Go ahead.
Yes.
Okay. We got one yes.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, we got two.
Here's my thing.
Go ahead.
It baffles me when I hear women say, oh no, I'm not taking the initiative to speak first. If a man wants you, he'll come get you. If you say something first, you're desperate. Why are we picking and choosing when to be assertive? We want to raise on our job, we go after it. We want to lose weight, we go work out. We want to start a business, we do that. We want a higher education, we go back to school. But if we want a relationship or we want to get to know somebody, we sit back and wait. Huh? Where? How? What? How, Sway? Why? That makes absolutely no sense to me. You're going to be assertive in all other aspects of your life. But when it comes to your love life, when it comes to your personal life, when it comes to you possibly having a relationship, you're just going to sit back and rub the Bible, act like God is a genie, and he's going to drop a man on your doorstep. That's how that works now. And then we want to misquote scripture, talking about the Bible says a man that finds a wife. What does that have to do with you? Because last time I checked, the only person that he put to sleep was Adam and created him a spouse. Where else did he do that? Who else did he put to sleep? Who else ribs did he take? So it would behoove you to open up your mouth and say something, because a lot of times people don't even know you exist. Okay? Millions of people in this world. He don't know who you, he doesn't even know you. You talking about, I'm gonna wait for him to come. Baby, he don't know you. He don't know, he ain't never seen you before in his life. Okay? Doesn't work like that. Open up your mouth and say something. Or the alternative is go buy you a cat. Stay single.
Buy you a couple cats.
Buy you a puppy. Get you some pets.
Go on the PetSmart and live it on up.
That's what I'm saying. Just do that.
Get up some clothes.
Do that. Go get you a nice little kitty cat, a pet, iguana. Do whatever you got to do, because clearly you're comfortable in that state.
And your kitty cat will be alone.
Listen.
You can end the cat roost.
I ain't got nothing else to say about it.
Wait, can I read this? I mean, oh goodness. Rochelle says, approach. I'm not inboxing anyone first online. In person, that's another story as to you're able to sense energy in the person. But what's wrong with inboxing somebody first? I mean, and again, and it goes right back to Travis. and I'm going to modify his statement. A person, we don't have mind reading abilities. At least I don't. Get myself checked out, but I don't think how is a person supposed to know? Okay, Victor.
Even if the approach, because I think there was something one time I read, the fear of rejection is sometimes rejection, like acceptance, is manageable. And one of the older I get, the more I understand that thing about the childlike faith. When that child, before they begin walking, they fall more times. But you ever notice the child don't say, I ain't gonna try it again. I'm not gonna get up again. They get up and they don't have this tape that we do, we do the play rewind. That child doesn't do that. That child keeps moving forward because they realize they're making progress. And many times what we perceive as rejection, it may be the person may come out to be a good friend, or they gave you a gift. The gift was no. That means that there's a yes out there with somebody. And so instead of looking at it as a no and as a rejection, realize they may like me, but they're not interested in me, which is a difference.
Mike, I would like to say, like you say, we have these conversations. I don't know why some women feel that they are immune to rejection. Okay. I was just having this conversation with Shannon today. I said, your size 12 jeans rejected you after COVID. So what do? You go buy a new pair of jeans. You see what I'm saying? So you keep it moving. So, I mean, to say that, that mindset is y'all stop. That mindset is good, but we out here in the group, we don't really know if everybody is not seeing anyone. But I think the ones that constantly say, and like I seen a comment, to go up to a man and start talking to him, you're desperate. That is the furthest from the truth. A secure woman has no issue going for what she wants. That's how I feel. So that's what I think.
Oh, it's just so weird. We live in this world where, everybody has their perspective. And if you don't agree with my perspective, you're wrong. And if I don't agree with your perspective, I'm wrong. It's so weird. I think if you feel like a man should approach you first, I don't have no problem with that. I get it. However, don't come online and in my face, and anybody else's face, lamenting about ain't no man approaching you, and they ain't no good brothers out here, and all this, and they all sorry. And nope. You haven't tried everything yet, sis. Don't even open your mouth and say none of that. You haven't done the work. You haven't put in the steps. You ain't went to the gym. You ain't did none of that. You sitting on the couch watching YouTube exercise videos. Ain't worked out yet. Ain't worked out a muscle. You watching other folk work out. That's what you're doing. You waiting on the exercise to come find you. You want to get that Peloton bike, ain't saved $1 for it. I get it. That's cool. If that's what you want to do, you want to hit the lotto, keep playing. But don't be mad because you broke. You trying your luck. I get it. I'm not mad at you for your choices. I can dig it. Do you, boo, as they say. Do it. But don't. I can't. It irks me when people come out there and they, like I said, you see a men say, "Oh, ain't no good women out here." You met all the women? You ain't met 25% of the women. Ain't no good men out here. You met all the men? You ain't met 10% of the men. And guess what? A lot of times, and I'm not trying to be funny, a lot of times people say, "Oh, ain't no good men or good men or good women." That's because you pick badly. You have bad choosing skills. Your decision-making skills in a mate, they're kind of poor. Because you should have found at least one good apple up in there, something kind of reasonable. Maybe something you couldn't work with, but but it should have been reasonable. Every relationship shouldn't have been a disaster. So, like I said, to me, it's all perspective. You have to look at that, especially as Christians. You got to look at that glass as half full. You can't go out here saying, well, I don't understand. I'm not going to nobody's inbox. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. But then be upset that you're alone. Because the Bible gives you this pathway to get your way straight. Jesus was blessing people all kind of ways. Different ways every time. The brother was out there spitting in sand, blessing people. Talking across mountaintops, blessing people. Walking on water, blessing people. Speaking across cities, blessing people. On the cross, about to die, blessing people. Different ways. And then he sat there and told his people, told us that we'll do greater works. So if we're going to do greater works, you can't limit yourself. I'm done.
Okay, thank you, Elder Connolly. Victor?
I think if we're going to approach people, the key to me is know how to have a conversation. There was something that Shannon, there was an after party, I think in January. We were doing role plays on how to approach people and have conversation. And it was such a valuable, if you wasn't there, you need to it was a valuable time to learn, because what happened is, I'll be transparent. There's sometimes some people, the women have inboxed me and they ain't say nothing other than hello. And my mind, the things that will go through my mind in the conversation, you're like, if you're gonna get somebody's attention, know how to manage and engage their attention. If you want their attention, if you want a fish, know how to hold that pole so that the fish can get on the bait. And so things like that, at a certain point in life, we should know how to have, I think, man, wrong, judgmental, crucify me for it. But I think at a certain point in life, we should know how to have a conversation with the opposite sex. We learn that type of stuff as juveniles, how to have a conversation. We learn that really how to approach somebody, I think, as juveniles. And so having a conversation, even if the person is not interested in you. I remember there was a person one time that approached me, and that because they felt as though, because they asked me a direct question and they didn't meet the demographic, they ended the conversation with me, not knowing if I knew somebody that could, be more suitable for them. So even though that person may not, they may know somebody, or you may be the conduit to get them with your girlfriend, your niece, or your cousin, or somebody else. So you never know how you can be a blessing and receive a blessing just through the art of having a conversation.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Shannon.
I was also going to add to what Nick was saying, and actually what Victor was saying about, going in inboxes or whatever, and people saying, well, where are the good men? Where are the good women? Well, they're around. They just don't like you.
Mm-mm. 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 Mm-mm.
You're not approachable. You're not nice. Men can read, women can read. Your posts are trash. Your comments are combative. They don't like you. And so at some point, I'm being real serious, and I'm not talking about any one person. I'm talking about all of us. There has to be a point where you're going to have to look at self. Self, why is nobody approaching me? Since you're waiting on somebody to come to you. Self, why is no one approaching me? Why? Why is there nobody in my inbox? Why is there nobody trying to have a conversation with me? They don't like you. They don't like the person that they see. They don't like the behaviors. That's why. So if this is not who you are and there's more to you, it would only make sense Go say something to someone and allow them to see something different, period. Because what they've seen is not something maybe that they want to be bothered with. And that's a hard pill that we have to swallow as individuals. It's not just because we'll dance around something, make it sugary and sweet and make it sound nice. The bottom line is they don't like you. They don't. I'm being real. We got to stop sugarcoating stuff. It's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. There are plenty of people that don't like me. That's okay. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to eat the meat and I'm going to spit out the bones. What is it that I need to work on within myself? And I'm going to apply those things. Everything else I'm going to let fly and I'm going to move on. But if you are too good to even do self-reflection to figure out, is there something that I may be doing wrong? Well, I don't know what to tell you. Go get the cat. Go get the parrot.
And maybe Monica.
There you go.
But you're right, though. I mean, approachability and I was gonna say being a present help is a really, really a big factor. Because people always say, "Oh, online is fake. Online is fake." But if you're doing all this stuff online, it's indicative of who you are, no matter what you try to tell somebody. You know. So if all you doing online, not trying to be funny, is lying and stuff online, it's indicative of your spirit. You know, you have a lying spirit. You just do. You know, you being negative all the time online. Well, I'm not really negative in real life. Yes, you are. Because you're negative online all the time. Every time you approach something, it's a negative attitude, or it's a passive attitude, or you know, some kind of thing like that. That does not lend itself to relatability. People don't feel like they can approach you.
Right.
And then when people don't feel like they can approach you, they don't. So then they don't. You sitting there with Rufus the cat, watching 911 Lone Star, chilling.
Oh, you know.
That's what you're doing. Male, female, whatever. You in the house like Ace Ventura, pets everywhere. But I mean, that's just what it is. Because you can't relate to other people. They get on your nerves. They don't read as much as you. They didn't. They started the sentence with a conjecture. They didn't say this right. They're simile game. It's just too many similes in the conversation. It's all these little nitpicky things that we take and we say, "Oh no, that person won't." And then you wonder why you rolling solo. Why you Cinderella? You want to be Cinderella at that ball, but the prince ain't trying to dance with you. He like, oh no, let me talk to the homegirl over there real quick. You know, excuse me, shorty. You mad? You mad? Cause you just know you got chocolate slippers on. You know you pretty. He done walk right past you because
Mike,
he can't relate to you.
Can you highlight Rochelle Smith's question?
I know. I saw it. I saw it. I saw it. I'm about to post it. Okay, Here it go, y'all. Rochelle Smith, soon to be former member of SBCC.
Oh Lord.
Asked this question: are you all dating on the panel? If so, were you the approacher? I am not dating right now. Go ahead, Kirsten.
So I'll say this. I am currently dating, and I was not the approacher with the person that I dated, that I'm currently dating. But I did approach someone that is in the group at one point in time, and we talked for a period of time. I approached him first, and we still are friends today, but I approached him first. I did. So yes, I can be submissive, just like I can be aggressive. You got to know how to do it right. Thank you, Mike off.
So yes, Rochelle. as a matter of fact, after a little bantering on a thread, he sent me a friend request, and then I sent him an inbox stating, "I would like to get to know you. Are you open to that?" He said, "Yeah, I'm open to it." It's been what, almost 3 months? Well, 2 months now. So yes, I was the approacher. I'm so secure with myself. I don't have a problem with that. All he could have said was no. He didn't say no, and I'm here today on May the 18th, still talking to the same person. So, yeah.
It's no, I ain't gonna be that way. Okay, go ahead. You know I ain't gonna say that. Uh I'm trying not to say it though, but
Say it, Mike. Say it.
is he a youngin?
Absolutely, 16 years younger than me. But he a whole grown man. A whole grown man.
Wait a minute now.
Amen. Thank you, Father God, in the name of Jesus.
She said he a whole grown man. Okay.
Whole grown. Yeah, man.
Rochelle.
Can't handle half a grown man. It ain't gonna work out.
No, he can't be a piece of nothing.
Nope. Not a percentage.
I approached him initially. Now, mind you, it was not because of I wasn't checking for him, but I was the initiator. And what happened was a conversation that was supposed to last about 30 minutes ended up lasting about 4.5 hours because the vibe was just there and the energy was there. And after that conversation, I realized that I enjoyed talking to him. And I talked to him again later on that day for a few hours. And then the next day. And then the next day. And I've been talking to him ever since. That's it.
That's good.
In my case, yes, I am dating someone, as I mentioned earlier. And we started talking online, and it wasn't anything serious. And I realized that I liked her, and we were just getting to know each other. And I just told her I wanted to pursue a relationship with her. And we're rolling strong for about 6-7 months now. God is good.
Wow. That's fantastic. Mm-hmm. She must be a special lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good, man. That's good though. Did you meet in the group?
Yes, I did.
Okay. That's good. That is great. That is fantastic though. Anyone else with their test? Look at Victor. Go ahead.
No, I'm not dating.
Oh, I thought I was gonna say he was dating. And I didn't know about it. Mike off.
Okay, well, you know what, folks? That's it. Y'all tricked me into going over an hour. So there's gonna be some changes made on this panel. I tell y'all. Okay, anyway. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you all for watching. Now it's time for the announcements. As soon as I can find them. I always have a problem finding these darn announcements. Okay. Following this live stream, we will have our after party. We may continue this conversation in the after party. We may do that role playing what Victor brought up. Approaching each other, that is. And you know what?
I know what you meant, Mike. You boy.
I got it.
Can't take them nowhere.
You know. Okay. Get it together, Michael Anthony. Okay. We're going to have the after party, okay? And then on Friday, you see that big head guy out there?
All right.
He's going to appear on the next 15 podcasts, but after they watch it, they may not let me come on there today. But, and it's hosted by Trevor North and with Andrea and Chris. They're going to be there. Tune in. It will be streamed to the group. And then on Saturday, we will have Shoot Your Shot. Who knows what might happen to them? A fight might break out. Anything. Who knows? So, and that is about it, though, y'all. I don't know what to say about y'all. And also, I'm going to announce the menu for tonight, though. I'm just going to let y'all read it, though. And it's good. It's going to be finger food. So, it's not much. And where is that? There it go. Yeah, there it go. Pickled platypus eggs and beetroot punch. Now that's good right there. That's exotic, right?
Good is subjective.
You know what?
Beet juice is good.
Thank you, thank you, Victor. Thank you so much.
Not platypus.
Yeah, he's very daring.
Eggs, pickled platypus eggs. No, thank you.
Yeah. Probably why they probably a dangerous species messing around with you.
I'm like DeWine. Nah, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, anyway, thank you all panelists. Y'all made this a good show. Thank you, viewers. Yeah, platypuses are real. They are in Australia.
Where's the platypi?
Oh, that note. But that is a good question, though. Anyway. Forgot what I was about to do. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all panelists. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all people in the audience. Thank y'all viewers. Thank y'all so much. And if it's the Lord's will, we'll see you next week. Until then, see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Oh, I feel for my brother. Feel for my brother. You know, a lot of my brothers are dead and gone, but they've been hanging on the block a little too long. What can I say? I hope they live to see a brighter day. And the ones that are doing fine, God bless you, 'cause you're doing fine. At the end of the day, don't forget about me. As days turn to weeks and weeks turn to years, oh, I feel for my brother. And as time passes by, I see you're not satisfied. Oh, I feel for my brother. Feel for my brother. The street life used to be on, straight up hustling till the break of dawn. Taught me how to do wrong right, everything inside. But somehow things started to change. Try to get us straight up out of the game. You couldn't see what I saw.